Hi. Um, okay. I'm not sure where you found the definition for or where you found that definition for existence, but um, I'd be cautious um, in taking that as the only definition for existence. You brought up a lot of questions for me. I thought about space and time, and how I just wanted to ask some questions because I'm not like the physics expert or anything. I'm taking some physics and things like that, but I've read the relativity theory and all that. But I mean that doesn't really matter ultimately. But I wondered right away. I mean, I thought about space when you mentioned energy and matter as being like the definition of existence, and I never really heard that. Um, I've studied that people have observed and given names to what they've observed, and then they've learned how to manipulate it or to think that they can control it. I mean, at least to be able to observe them building a device or a contraption or a conduit, or learning how to not manipulate necessarily, but to funnel or channel, or direct or redirect energy and matter, and how to break it down and to look at it more deeply and more specifically, and how to, create all these wonderful gizmos and gadgets that, tell them exactly what they want to, know. So in effect, they create something that's going to give them exactly the answer they're looking for. They don't, because they've reduced their thinking down to the very simplest logic, which is, if I don't sense it, if I don't observe it, then it does not exist. And I've operated on that, for, in a way, from time to time, and I think we all do. Every now and then, and a lot of us more than others, I suppose. I mean, that's just a relative, terminology. It ultimately doesn't really mean anything. But the point I'm trying to make here is that the very fact, if you will, that your awareness chooses, or that some part of the awareness of who you are chooses to deny, not necessarily deny, but search for proof there is no God, begs the question, well, have you asked yourself what is God? And have you searched to understand and to see what God is? I mean, I know there's all of this baggage that has sort of like filtered through and trickled down, like the Crusades and the horrors and the racism and the sentimentality that's all, sort of used religion and spirituality, religion, as a reason to kill and to hate and to, torture and torment and all that. And I can see a resistance and a desire for reason, and that is utmost and, I mean, by far one of the most important aspects of existence, I suppose. But reason, plays tricky little games with you because there's so much. I mean, just think of it in simple terms. There's so much in this universe. I mean, in my, pointer finger, there's more information, in a way, than that. It could take. I mean, I could analyze my pointer finger to death, till I die, whenever that may be, and still not completely understand what it is. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, and yet we all move and breathe and think and create and destroy and refute and argue and reason, and a lot of us never stop to think, hey, what is this that I think I'm doing? And we get caught up in trying to give ourselves a concrete, zero tolerance, kind of like narrow point where we can say, that's it. That's it. There's no doubt there. And that's, I mean, of course, in this world that we live in, you want to find no doubt. May I recommend reading a little Buddhism? one of the first sciences. Really, it is. You'll check it out. You check it out and read Buddhism. Buddha said, like, don't just accept what I say, and don't just start following me and just going like, Buddha, I'm like, you're so wise. He said, look, you have the capacity, you have the faculties to do for yourselves what I've done for me. And he's like, that's the only way you can, attain what I've attained. You have to do it yourself. And that, I won't go into it, but the point is, in this huge, spectral, magnificent universe, why stop ourselves at one thought or idea? Like, from time to time, yeah, I'm like, sometimes I'm like, yeah, God doesn't exist, and other times I'm like, fuck you, God, you're a shithead, and other times I'm like, God, you're fucking cool, and like, excuse the cursing, but, ultimately it doesn't matter. Even if you proved that there was no God, I think there would still be some sort of lingering, even if there was a period. Ultimately it doesn't matter whether you prove he exists or not. What matters is, how you live your life. So, as long as you're living your life the way you want to live it, I guess that's, I don't want to be a cop-out or like, but whatever. There's more than life than meets the eye, And don't forget the sixth sense thought. So, kind of mind, whatever. Anyway, yeah. If you want to respond, I'm open. Give me a chat.